Hello, thank you for listening. I'd like us to talk about love. According to Lennon and McCartney, love is all we need. It's easy. And love is everywhere around us all the time, in our songs and in films and books. Apart from the weather, it's our favourite topic of conversation. Who's together? Who wants to get together? Who's no longer together? There's so much love around, you'd think we'd all be experts on the subject, wouldn't you? But no. Love is still a mystery to most of us and still causes us untold fascination and, literally, heartache. Could it be that we're not thinking about it the right way? Or is that actually the problem? When we get caught up in love, we stop thinking. Thought and emotion are indeed separate expressions of the mind, with different biochemical processes involved. Yet that doesn't mean they can't work together. Our feelings certainly influence how we think about some things. Say, someone close to us gets into trouble with the law. The options we consider might be very different to those about a stranger. Equally, the way we think about someone can change depending on how they make us feel. However much time we spend together, however many shared experiences, we can never really know another person completely. All our relationships are a complicated whirlpool of thoughts and feelings. How often do we hear someone who was once in a loving relationship that has broken down say that they now hate the previous partner? Or declare to anyone who will listen that the relationship was always toxic. When our feelings are badly hurt, we retreat into victim mode and focus on this or that fault. There's a blame and shame culture, which lawyers make a very good living from. Can love really turn to hate? Are they two sides of the same coin that we can so easily flip between? Surely not. Surely the truth is that the relationship was not founded on love in the first place. For genuine love must be undying, unconditional, and immutable. And that love is not at all easy. For all humanity's extraordinary achievements, our relatively comfortable lives, and our expanding consciousness, human beings still live with many fears and insecurities. Life itself is fragile. And of course, there are still very many for whom basic life is definitely not secure. It could be a struggle of poverty or poor housing. And for these people, expanding consciousness is a foreign language. Such people more than most need love in their lives. This is the key to the subject, isn't it? That we all, in our different ways, need to feel secure and cared for. Most human partnerships begin with a special attraction. It may be physical. We like how someone looks, their body shape, how they move, their smile, their eyes. Then high levels of dopamine and norepinephrine are released, making us energetic and euphoric, even leading to insomnia. We are in love. On the other hand, it could be a meeting of minds, an attraction of how someone speaks, their thoughts, their interests. Then, with time and shared experiences, we grow closer to the other person and learn more about them. We learn how they make us feel and think. If they allay our fears, make us feel safe, then could a lasting partnership be possible that will fulfill our needs? Now, have you spotted the flaw in that? The crack in the very foundations of a relationship? It's the word they. All too often, our thoughts and feelings depend on someone else. From the very outset, many relationships are dependent, conditional on how the other person behaves towards us. But people change. Our bodies change, our interests change, our needs change. People develop illnesses, disabilities. Experiences that were once exciting become irrelevant. We run into financial difficulty or work stress. Our beliefs about the world, or even our religious faith, can change. And so relationships break down because she just changed. Or I was changing, but he was stuck in the past. Now, this is not to say that just because a relationship doesn't last, there was no love there to begin with. But there's no natural law saying that human relationships must be unbreakable. The wonderful marriage that lasts for half a century or more is very rare. The UK divorce rate is over 40%, and it's much higher in other countries like China and Russia. Our expectations of partnerships are very different to those of a few generations ago. So let's just accept that in a changing world, it's likely that most of us will drift apart and move in new directions, into new relationships. That doesn't mean we have to regret the past, or we should criticize or hate or blame the one we shared our lives with. So now we arrive at the real question. Is there such a thing as perfect love? Is there a state of knowing love that does not depend on someone else, that is unconditional and never changes whatever happens? Throughout history, we have told and retold stories of this ideal. There's Romeo and Juliet, of course, although actually that didn't end well. And it was fictional. There was Paris, Prince of Troy, and the beautiful Helen. Oh no, that caused a war, and it's a myth. Antony and Cleopatra were real people. Oh, but that ended with a poisonous asp. This is not looking good. There are a few better candidates, though. Abigail Smith and John Adams, one of the founding fathers of the United States of America, were a truly devoted couple who wrote more than 1,000 letters to each other even while they were married. She wrote, "There is a tie more binding than humanity and stronger than friendship." The Romantic poets Percy and Mary Shelley also give us hope. "Soul meets soul on lovers' lips," he wrote. There are clues here to what we're looking for. These partnerships were not founded on physical attraction, behavior, or interests, power or personal need, but on the deepest sense, a meeting of souls. Let's explore what this really means in part 2.